Hey friends, it's Lisa Williams. So I have some financial goals before the end of the year, and I know many of you do as well. One of my goals is to be a good steward of my time and resources and to read this book, Retired and Free: The Unconventional Path to Financial Certainty and Fulfillment. And I know if you're like me, you don't have as many hours in the day as you would like, and you have lots of books that you would like to read, and you wish they were on Audible. This is one of them. This book is written by my mentor, Mr. Pedro Adao, one of the most successful men in the financial services world on the planet, but more importantly to me, an incredible mentor in the spirit of entrepreneurship. He's the founder of the 100X movement, which I am so blessed to be part of. And we are on a mission to disrupt the financial industry and also bring back the spirit of entrepreneurship that this amazing country was built on. So I'm going to be killing two birds with one stone, which is, first of all, reading the book myself because I want to and I get to, but also I'm going to record it so you can listen if you want to be retired and free and take an unconventional path to do that. Maybe speed up the process. How about that? Bring back a few years before you could be financially free. So we're going to read this together. If you read these chapters with me, you'll be done with the book by the end of the year. I'm going to release a chapter every single, we'll see, maybe every couple days. And we'll be done and we'll be well on our path. So let's just get started. Chapter 1, what is retired and free? One of the things we enjoy most as part of the work we get to do is speaking at financial events in the communities we serve. We enjoy meeting new people and have a passion for teaching. Many of the people who show up at our events often say they came not expecting too much because they have been to other financial seminars and thought they were fairly confusing and quite boring. When asked what the most impactful things learned from our talk, the most cited learning moment that leaves a lasting impression with many of the attendees is when we show them the buckets. He shares a picture of the buckets. Okay. What are the buckets? Now, you might be wondering what these simple aluminum buckets have to do with having a successful retirement. What you are about to learn is that these buckets have everything to do with you succeeding in retirement. You see, most people we talk to think they've been saving in retirement at buckets that look like this. It's basically a solid bucket, right? Unfortunately, this is in fact not the case. For individuals who have been saving for retirement, like I was, in a 401k, an IRA, a 403b, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, the retirement buckets they have been saving actually look like and behave a lot more like this bucket. And he has a picture of a bucket with lots of holes in it. Okay. How much of your retirement money do you suspect has already leaked out of your buckets over the years? Do you have any idea how much money is leaking out of your retirement bucket right this minute? If you're sincerely committed to finding the answers to these questions, then you have the right book in your hands. Over the next few chapters, we'll help you understand the answers to the following incredibly important questions. What and who are responsible for the holes in your bucket? Would you like us to help you determine just how much money you might have lost and are presently losing this minute into the holes in your bucket? What steps can you take to plug those holes in your existing bucket, or how can you upgrade to maybe a better bucket? If you think these questions are worth the hour or so it might take you to read this book, then keep reading. Without question, the number one concern among many people in retirement and those approaching retirement, I'm going to add those even thinking about starting to save for retirement, is the fear of running out of money. Therefore, if running out of money is the number one concern among many retirees, then doesn't it make sense that the first thing you should do is to make sure we plug up as many of those holes as we can in the bucket? Of course it does. Every dollar that leaks out of your bucket is one less dollar you can spend today, or one less dollar growing for a future use. Therefore, before we talk about trying to make new money, doesn't it make sense to doesn't it make more sense to first start by focusing on helping you keep the money you already have? Making new money often involves taking some element of risk. However, taking steps to keep more of the money that you already have is an outcome that you can achieve 100% of the time when you take the right action. Retired and free primary keys. It's not how much money you make that counts, it's how much money you keep. If you're starting to realize that this book is unlike any other book you've read on investing in retirement, you are right. And it's that way by design. One of the biggest compliments we receive about our live events, this book, and our financial process is how simple and easy it is to understand. This might come as a shock to you, but retirement doesn't have to be complicated or confusing. So you might be wondering why investing and planning for retirement can be so hard to understand. Oh, yes, I'm still recording. There are several multi-trillion dollar industries that profit from helping you save for retirement. Unfortunately, the more complex investing for retirement is, or at least the more complex it appears to be, the more dependent you become on these financial institutions and their advisors. The more complex and confusing managing your money is, or at least appears to be, the more likely you are to hire a trained professional to do that for you. The more complicated or confusing something is, the less likely you are to understand what is actually going on. Therefore, limiting your ability to ask the tough, important questions regarding what's being done with your money. Regrettably, we believe today's retirees and pre retirees are drowning in what we call the sea of half truths. What's the sea of half truths, you ask? To answer that question, let's first establish a definition of half truth. We define a half truth as a piece of information that contains some factual information. However, it also includes either incorrect information by omitting very, very important details, misleading information, or provides incomplete information. Now, when people knowingly share information that is incorrect or misleading, they have told a lie of omission. However, they leave out important, pertinent information that is called a lie of omission. A half truth, let's face it, friends, equals a whole lie. This really spoke to me when I first read that. After being in the financial service industry for a combined 30 years, we can tell you that lies of commission and omission are commonplace. Regardless of how much oversight companies attempt to provide, and regardless of best practice and efforts used by regulators, you can't fully regulate morality and ethics. That's a big one. This is probably not news to you. Most people we talk to have already had an experience where they've learned about the half truths the hard way. Have you ever purchased a financial product or investment that you really liked, only to find out later important details about that same product or investment that you wish you had known or better understood? Maybe if you'd known these details before, you might not have made the same decision to buy that product or investment. Does this sound like an ideal scenario for making important financial decisions? We don't think so either. What you're about to learn is more than likely a fair amount of the financial retirement education you've received already regarding how to save, how to invest for retirement. It includes a number of half truths. In the next few chapters, we'll be explaining a number of the half truths to you. Why is this important to learn? In our opinion, the only way to truly succeed in retirement is to make decisions based on complete and accurate information, and to free yourself from the half truths rampant in the mainstream financial conversation. One of the main objectives of Retired and Free is to equip and empower you with the knowledge and understanding you need to confidently make sound financial decisions. You might be wondering just how rampant these half truths are. So here is what we believe is one of the more dangerous ones right here in chapter 1. Half truth number 1, average rates of return. If we were to ask you, how have your accounts performed over the past 1, 5, or 10 years, what would you say? Most people, when asked that question, grab their most recent statement and recite the returns listed. I've definitely done that myself, Pedro. However, what if that number on your statement don't actually represent what you think it does? You see, on most statements, the performance numbers listed almost always represent an average rate of return over a certain period of time. Average rates of return can at times vary significantly. They can misrepresent the actual real rate of return or the real amount of money being made or lost in your account. Did you know it was possible to actually average 25% in an account that hasn't earned any money at all over that same period? In a later chapter, we'll show you the actual simple math to prove just how possible it is for an average rate of return to be this misleading, causing you to think that you're doing much better than your investments than you really are. Many people today still rely on mutual funds that are professionally managed to provide diversification and growth in their portfolio. But it's our belief from speaking to so many of our clients that very few people who own mutual funds actually know how they work. Oh, I'm going to write that down really, really quick because I have a lot of clients that have a mutual fund. Even fewer are aware of the different types of fees that can be associated with their mutual funds. Part of the challenge with understanding the fees associated with the mutual fund is that some fees are not listed as specific line items on an account statement, but rather listed in the fee table schedule of mutual funds prospectus or summary prospectus. When was the last time you sat down to read that 20 or 30 plus page prospectus of your investments? If you're like me, I get those in the mail and I basically put them in the circular recycling bin, unfortunately. What makes this troubling is that while different types of mutual funds charge different types of fees, many clients invest unaware of the true cost when using vehicles like these and the resulting impact it can have on the long-term growth of their portfolio. In their second edition best-selling book, Mutual Funds Exposed, Dr. Kenneth Kim and Dr. William Nelson educate investors on what they feel are the dramatic inefficiencies of mutual funds. While it's certainly a worthwhile read, they make the point that due to disclosed costs, hard to understand costs, cost due to tax inefficiency, and cost due to confusing tax regulations, such as mutual funds being able to buy and then sell losing investments before they're required to even report their holdings, leaving you often unaware that such transactions even occurred in the funds you're holding. For some investors, mutual funds have become an underperforming investment compared to other options available to investors today. Anybody in mutual funds? I'm going to have you listen and read that chapter again. The question we would have you consider is this: if I have a portfolio that includes mutual funds, do I truly understand what type of funds I own and the actual annual cost to me? Why did I not clearly understand this prior to investing in those funds? It is our hope that these questions start to stimulate the right mindset of verifying and clarifying what you own, pros and the cons of owning it, and understanding why you own it. In good times and bad times, regardless if you make money or lose money, the investment company always makes money. Why? Because it continues collecting fees from investment accounts like yours. That's why investment firms and financial advisors work so hard to keep you invested in the market. It's simple. The longer you stay in the market, my friends, the more Wall Street firms and advisors make charging you fees. If we got your attention and you want to know more about how the financial products you own work, then you have the right book in your hands at the right time. We've had the privilege of speaking to thousands of people about their retirement savings. They often tell us that they have a gut level instinct or sense that something just isn't quite right. They admit there are things about their financial situations that they really don't understand, which creates uneasiness and doubt. Doubt gives birth to uncertainty, and uncertainty, when full grown, produces fear, anxiety, and worry. In my opinion, the baby boomer generation, many of whom have already entered or will soon be entering retirement, will face significant and unprecedented financial challenges in retirement. Due to medical advances and better health awareness, many baby boomers will need to finance retirements of 20 years or longer. The longest retirements of any generation. Our concern is that given the current national as well as global economic concerns, we worry they will need to support themselves longer than ever during what might be the time of greatest financial uncertainty the world has ever seen. Retired and Free is not just another book on personal finances. Maybe you've read other personal finance books and have been disappointed with the overwhelming amount of information, of charts and graphs that leave you even less sure about what to do next. We intend to share important information to make you aware of some common myths and misguided financial facts you might believe about how your money and investments work. However, our objective in Retired and Free is to present undeniable, compelling, truth-based information that can bring about transformation, real transformation. Now, what is transformation? For the purpose of our conversation here in Retired and Free, transformation occurs as new ideas, paradigms, and truth take the place of limiting beliefs, outdated myths, and other misinformation you might have accumulated over the years. For a caterpillar, flying is not possible. However, after being transformed, that caterpillar is now able to fly because it has the nature and structure of a butterfly. Flying, which is impossible for the caterpillar, is not only possible, but in fact normal for the butterfly. Our belief is that there are millions of Americans who have already retired or soon will be into a lifestyle they wish was much different. However, they might lack the needed perspective and financial information for starting their paths to retired and free lifestyle. So, what is retired and free? A new way to think and approach retirement. It's a lifestyle that is characterized by retiring from all the things you no longer want in your life so you can be free to enjoy the things you desire and want to do in your life. To do this, we must replace myths with truths, my friends, misinformation with facts, and worry with peace. I love that. While our goal is to help as many people as possible become retired and free, there will be challenges and obstacles that we will have to overcome along the way. The single biggest obstacle you might face to living retired and free is fear, the big old fear. Well, fear, worry, and anxiety are not our friends. It's difficult to think soundly and make good decisions when these emotions are present. Money is already an emotionally charged subject. And when coupled with fear, it becomes increasingly difficult to make rational decisions. According to psychiatrist Dr. Bruce Perry, when humans experience fear, the intelligent parts of the brain literally cease to dominate. As logical thinking is replaced with emotion-driven thinking, fear sets us up to be easy targets for believing claims from marketers who prey on our fears and insecurities. Fear will cause you to want to believe certain things to be true, even when your gut, it doesn't sound right. I've definitely fallen for that. Fear creates blind spots to concerns and red flags that should be investigated, but are often overlooked because you really want to believe what you're being told. Clearly, we do not do our best thinking when influenced by fear. Fear is fertile soil for poor decisions. Marketers understand this, and some have done a great job of using our internal wiring against us. We are not conspiracy theorists, but you do need to be aware of how some financial professionals and investment firms create marketing messages and sales presentations that prey on your fears. To make good financial decisions, you must be able to separate truth and financial facts from messages aimed at manipulating your emotions. Remember, the goal of the investment firm leaders is to make as much money as possible for themselves and their shareholders. So, to do that, they must have investors who are willing to invest with them and to leave it there as long as possible. You should always be in a position where you are able to make financial decisions that are in your best interest, regardless of what your advisor or the investment firm might want you to do. Even when it might make complete sense for you to get some or all of your money out of the market, it doesn't make financial sense for your advisors or the investment companies. They work for it to encourage you to take your money out of the market. This doesn't make them bad or evil people. It's just how business works on Wall Street. As a consumer, it is your job to take a buyer beware approach to the financial products you purchase and take 100% responsibility and accountability. In the next 10 chapters, we're going to take you on a journey that will not only provide you with invaluable information, but will also ask you timely and important questions to help you become self-aware of your thinking regarding your savings, your investments, and overall retirement plan. Our goal is to help you create a powerful new perspective for rethinking your current financial situation, free of financial myths and worry, so you can make the best decisions possible. Perspective, my friends, is power. I love that. As you read each chapter, you'll be presented with historical facts, financial truths, and be provided with questions to help you determine your personal needs, desires, and values. Much, if not all, of what you learn in this book might be contrary to some of the financial myths and misconceptions that you've had and you've learned over the years. Maybe you, like many of the people who attend our live in-person seminars, are unaware of just how much financial misinformation they have picked up along the way. Listening to self-serving rhetoric from the financial industry, financial magazines, well-intended but misinformed friends, the water cooler conversations with well-meaning but unsophisticated coworkers, and maybe even financial advice you've learned from so-called financial experts on TV and radio. Much of the financial information passed on in these formats is really just regurgitated financial myths that have been passed on for decades and may not have been questioned. A myth is believing something to be true when in fact it is false. This can be dangerous as it can lead to poor decision making. Therefore, one of the main objectives of Retired and Free is to free you from the influence of these financial myths, some of which have been propagated by the large investment firms to get you to behave with your money in a way that is in their best interest, but not necessarily your best interest. Some of the myths and misconceptions that will be addressed in the following chapters include, but are not limited to. We keep building on this, my friends. First one, a life of ease is the goal of retirement. Number two, being retired means you no longer earn income. Wow, do I not believe that. Number three, you have to wait until you retire to do exactly what you really want to do. How broken is that, my friends? Number four, retirement is just a financial event. Number five, 65 is old. Number six, you should always stay fully invested in the market. Number seven, all investments have high fees. Eight, taking risk and losing money is a part of investing. Number nine, you should continue maxing out your 401k until the day you retire. Number 10, you should always delay drawing Social Security until age 70 so you can maximize your benefit. 11, the best place for your retirement money is in a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds. 12, you should never do a reverse mortgage. 13, all annuities are bad and should be avoided. 14, once you retire, you no longer need life insurance. 15, you should defer as long as possible, taking money out of your 401k and individual retirement accounts or IRAs. Number 16, you should only pull out your required distributions once you reach age 72. 17, you can easily retire on 80% of your income. Okay, that right there. Does that make any sense? How are you doing on 100% of your income, by the way? 18, you will be in a lower tax bracket when you retire. Big misconception. 19, your expenses will be lower when you retire. 20, you should minimize your expenses so you can live on only interest your investments produce and never spend your principal. 21, my current financial advisor is the best person to help me make sure my money will last throughout my retirement. Friends, does anyone care about our money as much as we do? The truth, my friends. It is hard to make good decisions when you have been provided with bad information. The old adage of garbage in, garbage out really is true. Call me crazy, but I believe you deserve to have the best possible, complete, and truth based information you need to know about retirement so you can confidently make sound, well informed decisions. This is your money. You probably have spent a lifetime earning it. And wait, let's just see here. Oh, and probably have no interest in having to re-earn this money if it were lost. If the idea of having control and a sense of certainty regarding your financial life sound good to you, yes, Pedro, that sounds awesome to me. Then we invite you to stay with us as we journey through Retired and Free. Let's now turn our attention to better understand which type of retirement you are best suited and prepared for. So friends, that is the end of chapter 1. I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.